Looking to make Mars your home? While the idea of a futuristic city under glass domes may sound enticing, the reality is that living on Mars will be challenging for quite some time. Metal buildings and glass domes are still a thing of science fiction for now. But fear not, if you're serious about colonizing the red planet, there are some viable options. Consider living underground, constructing rock-based structures using 3D printing technology, or our favorite suggestion, living in a balloon. Yes, you read that right. We believe a highly engineered, self-sufficient inflatable habitat is the way to go. This technology has been in development for 3 decades and is now on the brink of revolutionizing human spaceflight. Inflatable habitats solve numerous challenges of sustaining human life outside of Earth's atmosphere. They are not only perfect for orbiting space stations, but they may also hold the key to colonizing Mars. Welcome back to Door to the Universe, where we explore the fascinating possibilities of space living. For years, 3D printing has been at the forefront of designing practical Mars colonies. With endorsements and funding from NASA, several groundbreaking 3D printing concepts have emerged. However, a closer examination reveals inherent flaws in using additive manufacturing on the red planet. The basic idea behind 3D printing in space entails deploying a fully autonomous robotic system on Mars. These robots would gather regolith, the loose dust and rock fragments that cover the surface, using rovers. The collected material is then mixed with a polymer substance and heated to create an extrudable concrete. Layer by layer, a 3D printing machine constructs the structure. Sounds incredible, right? However, landing all these robots on Mars and supplying them with ample electricity poses a significant challenge. Moreover, the end result is essentially an above-ground cave made from Martian rock, which could potentially be harmful to human beings. This raises another important concern. Discovering the composition of Martian regolith remains a mystery as we lack a sample. However, we do have 2 possible approaches to building a housing solution on Mars. The first involves baking the regolith into Play-Doh, although this method is currently speculative. The second option is to create an inflatable habitat on Earth, load it into a rocket, and transport it to Mars. Upon arrival, the habitat self-inflates and deploys solar panels, simply awaiting the arrival of a human crew. When establishing a human settlement millions of kilometers away, simplicity is key, and the inflatable method offers the least complexity. Before the rise of Musk, Bezos, and Branson, there was Robert Bigelow, an eccentric billionaire who made his fortune through the budget suites of America hotel chain. In 1998, he founded his own aerospace company with the audacious dream of creating hotels in space. Bigelow Aerospace quickly developed a multi-layer expandable space module technology, licensed directly from NASA. The TransHub project, initially intended for the International Space Station, unfortunately faced funding challenges from members of the U.S. Congress. After a decade of groundbreaking research and development, Bigelow has finally developed a game-changing technology that is set to transform outer space exploration. In 2012, NASA recognized the potential and invested a remarkable $18 million to bring Bigelow's vision to life. The result? The Bigelow Expandable Activity Module, also known as the Beam. The Beam made its impressive debut on the International Space Station, ISS, in 2016. This expandable module, measuring 4 meters in length and 3.23 meters in diameter, boasts a pressurized volume of 16 cubic meters. While it initially served as a proof of concept, the beam has since become an integral part of the ISS. It remains fully inflated and pressurized, but it's intriguing to note that astronauts mostly use it as a closet, always keeping the door closed for safety reasons. However, beyond its closet-like functionality, the beam has proven its resilience. It effortlessly withstands micrometeor impacts without sustaining any damage. Furthermore, the levels of cosmic radiation inside the module are comparable to those found elsewhere on the ISS. This limited test has led us to an exciting hypothesis. Inflatable space station modules perform just as well as traditional ones. Despite these remarkable advancements, Bigelow Aerospace unfortunately faced a setback in March 2020. Robert, the founder, made the difficult decision to dissolve the company, leaving the entire staff jobless and ceasing all operations permanently. However, this visionary entrepreneur didn't stop there. Later that year, he ventured into a whole new realm by establishing an institute dedicated to researching life after death. Truly a fascinating individual, don't you think? Let us know in the comments if you'd be interested in watching a video featuring Robert Bigelow. Thankfully, the future of inflatable space habitats is not bleak. Sierra Nevada Corporation, in partnership with CRS Space, has emerged as the savior. Known for their successful Dream Chaser spaceplane, Sierra Nevada Corporation is now teaming up with Blue Origin to construct the remarkable orbital Reef space station. Together, they are paving the way for the exciting future of space exploration. Imagine living in a space balloon. Sounds crazy, right? But believe it or not, it's not only possible, but also safe. Meet Life, the large, integrated, flexible environment that is revolutionizing space living. Life is a fully inflated habitat, standing tall at 3 stories and measuring 27 feet in diameter. Just one module offers a staggering 1/3 of the internal volume of the entire International Space Station, ISS. And the best part? It can fit into a standard 5-meter rocket fairing, making it easily deployable into orbit. Sierra, the brains behind Life, has big plans for this innovative habitat. Not only will it be integrated into the upcoming orbital Reef station, but it is also designed to function as a standalone space station. In fact, multiple Life habitats can be linked together to create massive orbital structures with impressive internal volumes. But what about safety? After all, venturing into outer space is no walk in the park. Rest assured, Life's outer shell may be soft, but it packs a punch. Made from multiple layers of an ultra-tough material called Vectrin, it is woven together like a basket to enhance strength. In fact, when pressurized, this outer shell is even stronger than steel. Sierra has conducted a series of tests, including overpressure and ballistic testing, to ensure the durability and longevity of their product. Sierra has already projected an impressive operational lifespan of 60 years for the Life habitat. However, let's address any concerns about potential shell punctures. Will it burst dramatically like a balloon? Will you get sucked into the vastness of space? The answer is no and no. Allow us to debunk some common misconceptions perpetuated by science fiction. Space is indeed a vacuum, meaning it has extremely low pressure. However, it's not like there's a giant vacuum cleaner waiting to sweep everything away. The ambient pressure in outer space is around -14 psi, whereas on Earth, at sea level, it's around +14 psi. So there's only a 30-pound pressure difference per square inch. This isn't enough to trigger explosive decompression or forcefully expel anything through a hole. If, by chance, a micrometeorite punctures the inflatable habitat, it would resemble a tiny hole in a bike tire. Air would leak slowly and steadily. It's fixable, so no need to worry. Now let's address radiation concerns. Luckily, soft shells lend themselves incredibly well to providing effective radiation shielding. Surprisingly, hydrogen is the best material for blocking radiation. That's why water is often mentioned as a radiation shield. Polyethylene, a plastic polymer with a high hydrogen content, can be woven into a matrix and layered into the inflatable module's shell composition. Remember those surgical masks we've worn recently? They utilize a similar woven polypropylene matrix to capture viruses. Furthermore, Bigelow has explored the use of high hydrogen content foam materials that can be integrated into the soft shell, creating an even more powerful radiation shield. However, it's important to note that venturing beyond Earth's magnetosphere is inherently risky, regardless of the precautions taken. Nevertheless, the inflatable habitat is designed to be, at the very least, as safe as, if not safer than, any other option available. These modules are designed with a central core that contains all the important systems like communications, life support, and power. To maximize space, research equipment, medical bay, and exercise gear are stored inside during launch, then moved to the outer areas once the shell is inflated. There are 2 design applications: zero gravity and planetary gravity. Zero G is easier to design, using soft baffles to separate different areas. However, plans for future life modules that function with gravity are in the works for a serious Martian colony. Sierra also envisions a combination of ground-based infrastructure and an orbital space station to serve as a waypoint between Earth and Mars, similar to NASA's Lunar Gateway Station for the Moon. By linking enough modules, Sierra believes they can create a ring-shaped space station with artificial gravity. Excitingly, larger rockets like SpaceX's Starship will soon allow for bigger cargo fairings, which means bigger modules. Sierra is already running the numbers and estimates that a jumbo-sized Life module, utilizing the Starship, could expand to over 2,000 cubic meters in volume, more than double the working space of the International Space Station. With one launch, Sierra could create a habitat as long as 60 feet and up to 50 meters in diameter. This infrastructure, both in orbit and on the ground, would provide a safe and comfortable environment for long-term human presence on Mars. It's an idea that's hard to beat. Stay tuned every week for more updates on the aerospace industry and interstellar exploration. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to Door to the Universe for more fascinating content like this.